Mr. Babbage, would you like to introduce this report?
Thank you, Your Worship. Your Worship, as you've mentioned, we have Anurag Gupta, or AG as he likes to go by, our Manager of Continuous Improvement and Innovation here this evening to present an update on our Continuous Improvement Program. I'll turn things over to AG, please.
Your Worship,
It's yours.
Your Worship, members of Council, and senior leadership team. Good evening.
Speaker.
Can I be heard now? Is that
Yeah.
okay? I'll move over.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here today to provide an overview of the status of the City of Prince George's Continuous Improvement Program. This brief presentation will provide Council with a high-level synopsis of how we're looking for efficiencies in our operations, trying to extend the dollar to its maximum extent, all the while establishing a continuous improvement culture in our organization. At the end of this presentation, I'll be happy to address any questions that Council may have. The question that's before us is, what does it take to initiate and establish a new culture, specifically a culture of continuous improvement in an organization like City of Prince George? Your Worship, members of Council, senior leadership team, and my fellow citizens, initiating and establishing a new culture in any organization is akin to developing a new skill over time. First, we show what is possible, what the end state looks like, what it looks like, what it feels like to be a champion. And then we work backwards, starting from the current state, developing ourselves with resources, training, and dedicated practice of the craft on a daily basis until we achieve the end state. So, how does that translate to City of Prince George and developing a continuous improvement culture in our organization? We took this concept and commenced a 3-year strategic plan to achieve this vision. The journey was planned in 3 strategic phases. Phase 1 was show value. In fall of 2024, last year, the foundation for the new culture was laid by demonstrating the effectiveness of continuous improvement, which generated enthusiasm and buy-in across the organization. We achieved this by showcasing and measuring the efficiencies that had already been implemented. In phase 2, for the year 2025, this past year, we focused on building value or strengthening the CI foundation by optimizing city processes through a 3-pronged strategy. First, executing divisional transformation projects. Second, we launched the Pilot CI Challenge 2025, which saw 78% of our personnel achieve their white belt competency. This 78% competency level among our personnel demonstrates concepts of lean truly taking hold at the grassroots level in our organization. Building on phase 1 and phase 2, phase 3 in 2026 is planned to be the increased value phase. This phase will build on the foundation laid in 2024 and strengthen further in 2025, and will focus on increasing value by developing our personnel's as well as senior leadership team's technical competency through lean yellow belt trainings, by expanding the Pilot CI Challenge 2025 into an annual recurring program, and by executing divisional transformation projects. The goal of phase 3 in 2026 will be to lay the foundation for a continuous and autonomous culture of innovation and optimization, which will automatically lead into an employee-driven continuous improvement culture. This is the point where the pieces of the puzzle will start falling into place, and all the hard work done through 2024 and 2025 will all start coming together. So, where do we stand with phase two? How did we focus on starting to provide resources, training, and opportunities in 2025 to poise our organization for a podium finish in the future? Phase two, as I mentioned, was focused on building value and strengthening the CI foundation via a three-pronged strategy. First, launching lean white belt trainings across the organization for competency development. Second, launching Pilot CI Challenge 2025. And third, executing divisional transformation projects. We'll dive into each of these for a bit more details and see how these initiatives have actually set us up for success in the future. City personnel were trained on lead white belt trainings in 2025 as a first step in their competency development in lean. 78% of our personnel achieved their white belts, demonstrating buy-in at the grassroots level. This unlocks our personnel to further develop their competency with yellow belts in 2026, where 50 city personnel and the entirety of senior leadership team are signed up, followed by green belts planned for 2027. This is our plan for three-stage competency development in our organization. Your Worship, members of council, senior leadership team, we recognize the fact that no amount of training is complete without the opportunity to apply the principles in the real world. Hence, complementing our personnel's white belt trainings, we launched the Pilot CI Challenge 2025, where civic operations divisions came together to optimize their processes. Not only did this give our personnel the opportunity to apply their white belt learnings to real-world problems, but also increased our operational efficiency. As an example, driven by the spirit of there must be a better way to do this, Roads and Fleet Services reviewed their sweeping and broom maintenance program to do the same job, but better. This resulted in utilizing higher quality brooms, which increased their operating efficiency by 17%. Additionally, the following two benefits were also realized. New equipment is operational for twice the amount of time before requiring service. This increases uptime and increased service to the citizens. And second, equipment downtime is reduced, which means effective personnel utilization and more time spent on the job. Why pay big dollars to outside big city contractors when we can do the same job, if not better, for a fraction of the cost right here in Prince George? Transportation Division is asking real questions like these by utilizing state-of-the-art technology to conduct in-house 3D scans, resulting in $25,000 cost avoidance by developing our competency in-house, all the while eliminating the need to outsource services to big city contractors. Recognizing the importance of and need for cross-training within our operations, utilities launched an industry-proven and standardized cross-training standard operating procedure, or SOP for short, aimed at fire hydrant rebuilds with the following benefits. A defined and standardized training format which provides clear guidelines on operational procedures and hazard controls. improved operational reliability for the fire hydrants and for our own operations. And finally, increased uptime of fire hydrants, resulting in prompt service to the citizens in times of emergencies. Turnaround time for malfunctioning hydrants has improved dramatically. I will now demonstrate what the new SOP looks like and how it provides clear guidelines and hazard controls. This is the cover page of our new standardized operating procedure, or SOP for short, and this snapshot demonstrates standardization and document control. This snapshot of our new SOP demonstrates clear operational guidelines, hazard identification, and hazard controls. With clear operational guidelines and how-to pictures included on the right side of the SOP, this SOP makes it seamless and easy for anyone to follow a process clearly, which in turn results in increased accuracy and efficiency. This graph demonstrates what the continuous improvement journey for the City of Prince George can be expected to look like moving forward if we continue to put the effort and commitment into the program. In phase 1, we strategically demonstrated cost avoidances to be significantly high, as this is where we show the organization what is possible with a continuous improvement culture. We demonstrated what the end state looks like by measuring and demonstrating projects that had already been undertaken to show the value of a continuous improvement culture. This helped generate buy-in and enthusiasm across the organization, and that was phase 1. In phase 2, we expect the cost avoidances to be maintained as we now focus on generating competency among our personnel. Phase 2 is where our personnel are starting to execute continuous improvement projects themselves consistently, hence starting to develop an employee-driven continuous improvement culture broadly across the organization. Since phase 2, or this current phase, is only the beginning, the projects undertaken by personnel are relatively small in scope, so that the employees can master the concepts and learn how to apply the concepts effectively. This is similar to learning how to ride a bike on a small street rather than on the main road in the beginning. In phase 2, we're gaining competency and capacity development broadly across the organization. Let us see how this competency development sets us up for consistent and continuous cost avoidances in the future. Phase 3 is where we expect to start seeing a further uptick in cost avoidances as the learnings mastered by our personnel in phase 2 will allow them to take on bigger projects. This also sets us up for recurring and consistent cost avoidances driven by employees themselves, and hence an employee-driven continuous improvement culture. In phase 4 and beyond, we can expect sustained year-over-year cost avoidances as the employees have mastered the concepts fully and are able to take on organizational and divisional transformation projects. This approach gives us both benefits. First, continuous and autonomous cost avoidances sustained, along with employee-driven continuous improvement culture, setting the organization up for sustained growth. Your Worship, members of council, this picture is a representation of how our personnel cheered after applying their white belt principles to real-world problems and getting successful results with the Pilot CI Challenge 2025. This year, we have successfully started our journey and set ourselves up for success for the next phase. So the question is, where do we go from here? 2026 is planned to be the increased value phase. This phase will build on the foundation laid in 2024 and strengthened in 2025, and will focus on increasing value via a three-pronged strategy. First, continuing to develop our personnel's technical competency through yellow belt trainings. Second, with the support of the city manager and the respected senior leadership team here, we plan on expanding the Pilot CI Challenge into an annual recurring program where all divisions participate to improve their operations. And third, continuing our pursuit of excellence through organizational and divisional transformation projects. Your Worship and Council members, thank you for the opportunity to present today. I'm available to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, AG.
Your Worship, thank you.
The second picture that showed the overview of Prince George on this slide, that was one of the best pictures I've seen of Prince George. So if that's a part of the CI, we've done something, okay. Lot of questions, and probably the council have a lot of questions for you. This is a beautiful view of Prince George. And we have a beautiful city, wow. Thank you. Councilor Bennett?
Excellent. Thank you very much, Worship, and thank you very much, AG, for the presentation and the work that that you have done for the city. A couple questions for you. One is, so if my math is right, oh, sorry. I saw, I think on the one graph, it was like 80% of staff now have received their white belt lean certification. Are we, I guess in terms of that, are we offering that training to every city staff? Is there a threshold in which that is like, I'm assuming we're not offering it, to example, our summer staff. So, but like every full-time staff is being offered the ability to take the training?
Your Worship, the Councillor, agreed. The goal is always 100% for all full-time staff members. But of course, you have different kinds of leaves that come into play, be it vacations or sick leaves or paternity or maternity leaves. In our work with our entire organization, we do see the opportunity for recurring trainings with respect to white belts and yellow belts as a refresher and to keep on developing the competency. So we expect for all personnel over time to be competent with their lean principles.
And so I guess the intent of my question is more like, how do we calculate the overall return on investment of this? So in terms of the training, are they doing are we doing like a train the trainer model, or are they taking the online program? And I guess again, if I'm looking at and they're taking the white belt certification online, that's a $300 course plus 4 to 6 hours of time to complete it. We're going to get to a point where we're probably spending $400,000, $500,000 at minimum to offer white belt certification to staff. At what point do we see the return on investment and savings of that $500,000 investment?
Your Worship, the Councillor, first of all, the white belt trainings were actually provided in-house. That was me. Okay. So we had no cost associated with white belt competency development. Having said that, you're right. The goal of the training is so that they can apply the concepts themselves. And that is exactly why we launched the Pilot CI Challenge 2025, to give them an opportunity to apply their learnings, and at the same time, the organization benefits because now we're starting to see improved efficiencies by the employees themselves who learned how to apply these principles.
And my other question, and again, I recognize I think most of my colleagues probably want to jump in the queue as well, so I'll just ask one more. Last year, we talked and celebrated a lot of the successes that you had seen in terms of cost, either redundancies or deferred costs. I forget how you would word it in the presentation. I guess I'm just wondering, were those costs truly sustained as savings in year two, or did you see kind of a one-time blip down in those costs and then see them peak back up as people get back into the routine of doing business as normal?
Right, and one of the most important aspects of establishing a new culture is sustainment. That whatever new we establish or introduce into the organization, how do we make sure that we sustain it? And that is where the role of our new standard operating procedure comes in, where it is a documented process that anyone, even if you have anyone new coming into the organization, it's a documented process on how to best effectively, efficiently, and safely execute the new process so that the benefits that were realized at the time of launch, they are sustained through the lifetime of the organization.
Excellent. Thank you very much for taking the time to answer the questions.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions here. So when you met QP 399 at 1048 to lay this out, did you have enthusiastic buy-in from them, Your Worship, to the presenter?
Your Worship, to Councillor. In fact, this was one of the most pleasantly surprising white belt trainings that I've done in my entire career. The excitement, the buy-in, the enthusiasm was off the charts, to the point where when I communicated to the team that, hey, white belt is only the first stage in competency development and we do have yellow belts and green belts after that, right after the training session, they themselves started coming up that, hey, I want to be signed up for this, and I want to go for the yellow belts, and I want to go for the green belts. So the enthusiasm and buy-in has been truly pleasantly surprising.
Okay, so just to build on that, did we not have safe work procedures, all those things in here? Because I look at how to turn off a fire hydrant. So I guess my question, if I was an employee and I was told this is how you turn off a fire hydrant, it's all in writing here now. Didn't we have any of those procedures before?
Your Worship,
Your Worship, to the presenter?
Your Worship, to Councillor, I'm pretty sure we have all that in writing. This was just an fire hydrant rebuild exercise was just as an exercise to introduce the new format to upgrade our existing scripts or standard operating procedures.
Okay, and just to you build on your comment, and I didn't write it down, I don't think, right? You talked about riding a bike. I don't know if it was on the sidewalk, and then we're going to teach employees how to ride the bike on the main road or something to that effect. Like, did the employees not know how to ride on the main road to start with?
Councillor, Your Worship, the Councillor, that analogy or that slide was more in a general sense. It is to basically provide an overview that how do we develop a new culture in any organization. Having said that, that's what my thought process was when we initiated the white belt trainings. But considering the buy-in and the enthusiasm that we noticed during the white belt trainings, we're already way ahead than the other organizations that have had the opportunity to work with. Because the first step to developing a new culture is buy-in. And it was very pleasantly surprising to notice that there's already buy-in and enthusiasm existing. And now all we got to do is perpetuate that enthusiasm and not lose the momentum.
Okay, so thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, if I was listening on the outside, I'd think, boy, it wasn't very good before and it's getting better now. And I hope that wasn't the case because we have highly skilled employees.
We do.
There's a lot of work satisfaction, a lot of pride in what they're doing in their jobs. I mean, I talked to a crew that fixed a water main break this weekend. They love what they're doing. They love serving the community and they're intelligent.
Agreed.
And I know this report isn't knocking their intelligence in that, but I think sometimes you make it a little bit too simplistic. Last question is, as I look through here, where is it being addressed for workplace morale and well-being? Like, where is that in the document? I mean, you can make someone feel better because they feel better trained and all the rest of that, Your Worship, but where in the document do we deal with key, important, I guess, factors in the success of an organization? And those couple things would be workplace morale and well-being.
Your Worship to Councillor, would you please repeat the last question again? I think it was something regarding morale. I just want to get a better
Yeah, I'm just
understanding.
wondering where in here could someone like myself that I don't know all the ins and outs here, would I be able to see, look, we're going to be dealing with the issues, we're going to improve workplace morale, and, a better sense of well-being. So I'm just wondering if the employees are just going to be doing this and they're going to feel better about themselves, or is there something else we're going to do if there is shortcomings with that to build on workplace morale?
Right, and so to build morale, also engagement with our frontline personnel, that is exactly the whole approach that we're taking with the Pilot CI Challenge 2025 and then our future plans of an annual CI Challenge, to have our personnel engage in actually executing the projects from start to finish. That way they understand exactly why we are doing what we are doing and them taking pride in their work. It all comes down to the engagement, rather than being told that, hey, just go ahead and do this.
Thank you. I see no more people. Oh, Councillor Clausen?
Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship, and through Your Worship, through to our presenter. Thank you. For the fast track work that you are mentioning that you are working on in getting our development permits and building permits done faster, are you consulting with the building community? And if no, why not? And if yes, how? And can any single member of the building community get in touch with you to provide feedback?
Your Worship, the Councillor. Yes, Councillor, I am working very closely with Ms. Diana Wasnik and Manager of Development Services, Mandy Jones. Right now, we're in the very initial phases where we're basically analyzing what our baseline metrics look like for the past couple of years to get a true understanding exactly what we need to improve. Our future plans do include engaging with our local community and getting a better understanding that, hey, exactly what we need to, what processes do we need to attack, but that will only come after we've analyzed the baseline metrics.
Okay, thank you. And so will you be reaching out publicly? Is there an opportunity for the members of the building community to get in touch with you to provide feedback?
That will definitely be a part of the entire project as voice of the customer or VOC.
Okay. I like the idea of employee-driven improvements. I think that's mentioned somewhere. Are you considering an award mechanism or quantification of their ideas?
Your Worship, the Councillor, amazing. That's something that I'm actually in discussions with the city manager and my manager to actually start recognizing employees for the Pilot CI Challenge 2025 that we just executed, so that employees who went ahead and applied their white belt trainings get the recognition that they deserve, and also it will help generate enthusiasm and buy-in for our future annual CI program.
Okay. And how do you measure if the work, how do you measure what you're doing? I mean, you have a job, you have a role.
Right.
How do you measure, and you mentioned that you're working on metrics for the development services. How are you measuring if the work is effective overall in each department or area that you're working in?
Your Worship, Councillor, so basically, it's basically data-driven. We do take two approaches. First is the data, but we also recognize that data is completely objective and there could be some things that could be left out. So we also engage with the end user to see how exactly they're feeling and to see if the subjective feedback we're getting from the end user matches the data or not.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you. AG, I know this is at a very high level reporting back to the council of the continuous improvement. There's one piece of slide, I'm just kind of cautious, the public do not take the wrong way. Because in that one, you mentioned the 17% increase in operating efficiency. That is talking about the one of the project you're doing. Because if people take this wording as in general, that means after inflation, we should give everybody a 10% budget cut. Be careful there. I don't think that was what's, maybe that presentation, that notation, have a little bit more understanding. It is the one of the pilot right there. This star, maybe there's, we're talking about based on this year's thing you're running, not the city as a whole. We got the 70% increase in operating efficiency there. That we had to be really careful because this is a public document.
Yes, Your Worship, thank you. Yeah, this was intended just to provide an example of one of the pilot projects in one division for brooms for the street sweeping reduction. So it's just isolated to that one project, Your Worship. Thank you.
Yeah, because maybe put a little notation, it is for the one other project. Because or else the public might view this a little bit more in different light. I need a mover, second to receive. Move to receive, second by Councilor Polillo. All in favor? Oppose? Carried. Thank you, AG.